Hi everyone, today I'm going to give you the essential knowledge to make your playing faster and more accurate. Even if you're an experienced player and you're stuck in a rut, this will work for you. In fact, I'm going to stick my neck out here and make a promise that if you do exactly what I say in this video for the next couple of weeks, you will see an improvement in your accuracy and your speed. If I'm wrong, by all means come back here and yell abuse at me in the comment section. Or better still, when I'm right, come back here and leave some praise in the comment section. Or better still, click on the link to my Buy Me a Coffee page. Any donations are greatly appreciated and help to offset the very high costs of making a YouTube channel. Now, speed isn't essential, but it is a huge bonus. If you can play fast accurately, then you can play slow very accurately. Also, it's better to have something and not need it than need it and not have it. Speed comes from accuracy, and accuracy comes from good technique and synchronizing the two hands so they both play on the pulse at the same time. For good technique, be sure to check out my playlist all about that from the beginning. For synchronization, you want to be frequently using a metronome or a drum machine to really get those two hands focusing together at the same time. Now, the obvious thing to say would be start slow and work up, and by all means we need to do that, but also at some point you need to just push it a little bit and try to experience what it feels like to play a little bit faster. Another essential component which is often overlooked is pick slanting, and we'll be talking about that. So your pick needs to lean one way or the other depending on the lick you're playing. Now, everyone has a preference to one particular direction. For example, Eric Johnson tends to lean his pick downwards like this. So I suppose the tip of the pick is actually pointing up to him. I tend to lean upwards like many players. Whatever your preference, you need to be able to work with that preference or against it, depending on what the situation is, so that you can cover all eventualities. You'll notice in this video that I talk more about the picking hand than the fretting hand, and the reason is most problems tend to arise there. But of course, I don't want to neglect the fretting hand. So the first thing we're going to do is a warm-up, which you can do every day for the rest of your life. One last thing before we get cracking. Never work through pain. Take regular breaks, relax, and if you get any tension in your wrists or hands, arms, shoulder, whatever, just stop, go away, have a coffee, come back. So the warm-up I promised you is basically a chromatic scale played like this. On the low E string, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then move back a fret on the next string, 4, 5, 6, 7. Notice I'm using all 4 fingers and my hand is relaxed. I'm not sort of jumping in a jerky motion. I'm not using the same finger twice. I've not got a huge bend in my wrist. I've got my guitar neck elevated. That's another way to prevent injury. So 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 5, 6, 7. On the D string, we're going to move back to the 3rd fret. Then back a fret on the G string, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because of the nature of the B string, we do the same thing there, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then back a fret on the top E, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then what we're going to do is we're going to shift over 1 fret and reverse this. This will be harder. 5, 4, 3, 2. Shift over on the B string, 6, 5, 4, 3. Same again on the G string, 6, 5, 4, 3. Over a fret, 7, 6, 5, 4. That was on the D string. Now to the A string, we'll move over again, 8, 7, 6, 5. Over again on the low E string, 9, 8, 7, 6. And then we're ready to start again on 5. Okay, so shift, reverse. Now on the way back, when you do this with a drum machine, you'll find that you will struggle on the way back getting pinky and your third out of the way quick enough. So you want to do this slow enough that it's very accurate and then work up to speed. Now I'm going to do this at 120, but that's quite an ambitious goal for you if you're not used to doing this. It will take you quite a long time to get to 120 beats a minute, especially if you do what I'm doing, which is 16th notes. That's 4 notes per click. So I'm counting like this. 1 Iana, 2 Iana, 3 Iana, 4 Iana. So that's my warm-up, but actually, you know what? Maybe that's too fast for a warm-up. Let me go down to 100 beats per minute and we'll see what happens. 2, 3, 4. If that's still too fast, obviously you can slow down, or you can just play quavers or 8th notes, which are counted 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 1, 2, then 3, then 4, and notice I'm making fairly small movements. The smaller the better. Okay, try not to let your thumb creep up like this because you'll kind of lose the stretch that your hand is capable of. So you keep it around the back like that. Not with a bend in the wrist, mind you. I've got the neck elevated so everything's comfortable. Right, then the next thing we're going to do, if you want to extend your warm-up, you can do a spider exercise, as it's known. And this is really good for getting the dexterity of the left hand or the fretting hand going. And it looks like this. It's a bit weird. 5 on the D, 7 on the G. Then we're going to do the same, a fret higher, but we're not going to shift our hand. We're going to use different fingers. We're going to go 6 on the D, 8 on the G. So in slow motion, 5 on the D, 7 on the G, 6 on the D. Look, I'm using my middle finger. And then pinky on 8 of the G. Okay, so I've got this. Then I'm going to swap this around. I'm going to play 7 on the D with my third finger. To 5 on the G with my index. Then pinky's going to play 8 on the D. And finally my middle finger plays 6 on the G. Okay, so that last little bit there was 7, 5, 8, 6. Let me do this up to speed. Have a listen. This is 100 beats a minute. And 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3. It's a really tricky thing for the left hand. It really doesn't like this at all, if you're not used to it. But when you get used to it, you can go. Okay, so in slow motion, index, third, then middle to pinky, third to first, pinky to middle. Notice I've got a kind of bass line here going like this, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now if you get really good at this and you really want to push yourself, what you can do is you can stretch it from the A string to the G. So you've got giving you this. You can even go from the E to the G. Let's get on to alternate picking, and this is more of an exercise for this hand, but again it's about synchronization. We're going to play something, it doesn't really matter where you do this, but I'm going to take it in like a B minor pentatonic scale kind of area. So I'm going to play 7 to 9 on the A string, and watch my right hand, it goes down then up, down on the 7, up on the 9. Okay? Very important that you go down, up. Now, the other thing that's important, if you look at my picking hand here, I'm actually slightly leaning my pick. Let me exaggerate this. I'm leaning it, and the reason I'm doing that is when I play the down and then the up, can you see my pick is clear of the strings? This is what we mean by pick slanting. If I was leaning upwards when doing this, if I go down, up, I'm trapped now between the E and the A string. I have to hop over to get to the next part of the sequence, which will be on the D string. I don't want to do any of this hopping thing, so I need to be clearing the strings. So I'm going to lean down, I'm going to go down, up, I'm clear of the strings. I can now do the same thing on the D string, 7 to 9, down, up. Same on the G string, I'm clear of the strings, 7 to 9. And we're going to finish this lick with 7 to 9 on the D. All the time I'm leaning. Don't do this thing of swapping your lean. Keep it one way. So lean down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, let's do it with a drum machine at 100 beats a minute. Let's start with eighth notes. 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3. And then we can speed up to 16th notes if we want, or gradually creep up the tempo on your metronome or drum machine. 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and 4 E. Now you could take that one step further. What you could do is you could start with an upstroke, but if you're going to start with an up, to clear the strings, you need to lean up. I'm exaggerating again. It's not this big a lean, but just so you can see what I'm doing on the camera. I'm going to lean my pick up, so I get up, down, I've cleared the strings. If I start with an up and I'm leaning the wrong way, like this, I've got up, down, I'm trapped between the A and the D string, and my next pick should be an upstroke. I'm in completely the wrong place. Make sure you're always clearing the strings, okay? So here we go, 100 beats a minute, starting with an up. That's eighth notes, or 16th notes. The next exercise is the same thing, but it's in reverse. We're going to go 9-7 on the G, 9-7 on the D, 9-7 on the A string, and back to the D. So we're still kind of within a B minor pentatonic scale. Now you can start with down or up, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to start with an upstroke, in which case I need to clear the strings by leaning slightly up. is 8th notes, which is what's written in the tab, but you can double it to 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E. Okay, starting with a downstroke now, doing the same thing. I need to lean down so I clear the strings. It's perfectly fine to do this as slow as you need to. Even if it's embarrassingly slow, that's fine. There's no one around, no one cares. But it's accurate. I'm making small movements here and small movements here without any tension. Now the next thing is, sticking with the B minor pentatonic scale, we're now going to do a sequence of 6 notes of the scale. We're going to go 7, 10 on the low E, then 7, 9 on the A, same on the D. That's our 6-note sequence. We're then going to go back to the A string, and from here do another 6 notes. 7, 9 on the A, 7, 9 on the D, 7, 9 on the G. Then I'm going to go back a string and do the same thing. 7, 9 on the D, 7, 9 on the G, 7, 10 on the B. Then I'm going to go back a string. 7, 9 on the G, 7, 10 on the B, 7, 10 on the top E. So the whole thing looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, back a string. 5, 6, back a string. 5, 6, back a string. I'm starting with a downstroke. I'm going to lean slightly down so I clear the strings. Okay, I can reverse this as well. I'm going to start with, actually, you know, I'll start with a down. I need to keep leaning down. So 6 notes, back to the B string. 6 notes, back to the G, back to the D. Okay, or I could start with an up, it doesn't really matter. Okay, as long as you make sure you're leaning in such a way as that you escape the strings. You don't get caged between them. 2, 1, 3 again. Reverse. You do it the other way, start with an up. I need to lean up though. Let me speed up now. And then reverse. Things get harder now. We're going to do a string skipping exercise. So we are going to literally play the pentatonic scale, but jumping over strings. So from the E string to the D, but then back a string from the A to the G. Jump. Back a string to the D string. We're going to jump over the G to the B. Then from the G to the top E. Let me do that again. 7, 10, D string, 7, 9. A string, 7, 9. G string, 7, 9. D string 7, 9, B string 7, 10, G string 7, 9, top string 7, 10. This is what it sounds like. 2, 3, 4. Now when you're doing this at this point, because it's getting harder, you might start to find you do this and get very short notes. We don't want that. We want the notes to last as long as possible. Otherwise we'll always end up with this very awkward, jagged sound. Reversing this, I can go 10, 7 on the top E, turn that drum machine off, 9, 7 on the G, back to the B string, 10, 7, jump to the D, 9, 7, back to the G, 9, 7, jump to the A, 9, 7, jump to the D, jump to the low E string, 10, 7. Watch this hand, okay? This is the reason we're doing this. We don't want to learn to sort of move like this and end up awkwardly at a funny angle. You use your wrist to pick, but you use the bridge as a guide to glide across so that you end up at the same kind of picking position, whatever string you're on, okay? In fact, I'm going to get rid of my trem so I can demonstrate that a little bit easier. So there you go, I'm gliding across the trem like that, okay? I'm not doing this and ending like that, which is really awkward, and I'm now using the side of my pick as well. I want to be consistent across all the strings. 3, 4. And again, you can do that starting with an up or a down. This next one is great because this one is it's for both hands, but it helps you to sort of move across the neck horizontally. But this hand shouldn't know or care. This hand should carry on doing what it's doing and not let this hand interrupt it. We tend to think when we jump, we have to kind of pause. You don't. Your hand can move from here to here in a split second. There's no reason to pause here. Let me show you what the lick looks like. Okay, so I'm going on the B string, although you could do this on any string. 13, 10, 12, 13. I'm in the key of C, by the way, but you could do it in any key. I'm going to move over now, 15, 12, 13, 15. Okay, that was 15, 12, 13, 15. And then I'm going to shift over, a bit stretchier, 17, 13, 15, 17. And then I'm going to go, shift over, 18, 15, 17, 18. Shift over, 20, 17, 18, 20, and bend to 20. So I've got... And what's great about this lick is it doesn't really matter if you're someone who prefers a downward pick slant or an upward. We're on one string, so it doesn't matter. I'm an upward leaner, so I'll probably stay upward. Well, it's not a bad idea to try it down as well. Upwards. Okay, let's try it with a drum machine. 100 beats a minute. 1, 2. I'll do this with eighth notes. 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 2. Now I'll do it with 16th notes. I don't suggest, by the way, that you instantly go into 16th notes. Just work up the speed gradually and let 16th notes be your end goal. Okay, let's try that one really fast. Now let's go up to, say, a nice, healthy 120 beats a minute. So 1 yen, a 2 yen, a 3 yen, a 4 yen, 1 yen, a 2 yen, a 3 yen, a 4 yen. Okay, let's go a bit faster. Okay, this is 140. Okay, and that's a really comfortable lick because this hand doesn't have to do that awkward thing of changing strings. Now, so far, all the licks we've done have kind of had a consistent picking slant throughout. This next exercise will prepare you for those situations where you don't have a choice but to have to flip which direction you're leaning. Okay, otherwise you'll end up clipping strings or getting stuck between strings. This is how the lick goes. I'm going to do this at 100 beats a minute with the drum machine. It sounds like this. And quicker. I'll just keep looping the same thing. Notice when I do this that I start the lick with an upward lean so that I clear the strings. And then on the top E I have to flip round to a downward lean to clear the strings. Back to the B string. I'm going to lean up again in a loop. Now, when I'm playing this up to speed, the change in lean is very subtle. It's like from there to there. I don't want to lean too far with my pick so I can't sort of change direction. But it's very subtle, so I've got change my lean. And the notes are these. I'm going 10, 12, 13. Then on the top E, I'm going 10, 12, 10, and back the way I came on the B string. 13, 12, and it starts again. But on the next time round, I'm going to slightly change it. I'm going to go 10, 12, 13. On the top E, I'm going to go 12, 13, 10. And then back the way I came, 13, 12, 10. So slow motion. You could, change this as well. If you've got a problem with your middle finger, you could change this to these notes, middle finger. Anything that kind of challenges your hands a little bit. So this is what's on the tab. You may have noticed all the exercises so far use alternate picking. Why not legato and sweep picking? Well, we do need to practice all of those things, and I've done videos all about that, so check that out. But alternate picking should be part of your technique staple diet. It's not only one of the most useful techniques, but also serves as a way to really sync up the two hands. But for the sake of completeness, I'll add an Eric Johnson style lick that uses a little bit of sweeping between strings. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a very much an Eric Johnson downward pick slant. I'm exaggerating again. And then we're going to play some alternate picking and then do a little mini sweep between some strings. So let me show you this. I'm going to use the B minor pentatonic scale again. And this is like, some people call this a sequence of fives. So starting with a downstroke, I'm going 10, 7, next string, 10, 7. And then my fifth note is 9 on the G. But look at this, I'm playing it down. So I've got down, up, down, up, down. I'm then going to push down again onto the B string and play 5 notes of the scale. 10, 7, 9, 7, 9. Then I've just played that down. I'm going to push down or sweep down into the G string and go 9, 7, 9, 7, 9. That's a down. I'm going to push down, sweep into the D. 9, 7, 9, 7, 10. Okay? You could call that D major pentatonic actually. You can land on the D there or land on the B, it doesn't really matter. So in slow motion, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sweep, 2, 3, 4, 5, sweep, 2, 3, 4, 5, sweep, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Now when you're doing this, you're going to have a tendency, if you're not used to sweep picking, you're probably going to go and kind of hop between these two notes. My picking hand should not be bouncing, it should be pushing through. That's what sweeping is. So I push on one string and I land on the B. My pick is literally sitting on the B, ready to push off and play again. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, push 2, 3, 4, 5, push 2, 3, 4, 5, push 2, 3, 4, 5. At 120 beats a minute. $140. At the end there. Let's go crazy. Let's try. It's a very efficient lick, by the way, this, because of that little sweep. The hand is kind of always in the right place. So I'm going to go for 160 now. So the timing, by the way, is digga 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 digga. When I filmed this yesterday, I forgot one of my favourite exercises, which really helped me, and it goes like this. What I'm doing there is I'm going on the D string, 9, 10, 12, to 10 on the G string. I then repeat that shape, starting on the G. I get 9, 10, 12, 10 on the B. Then I repeat that on the B string, 9, 10, 12, 10 on the top string. So I've got with down, alternate picking strictly, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And reversing it, I go 9 on the thin string, then to the B string, 10, 12, 10, 9. Okay, so that's, then on the G, 10, 12, 10, 9. Same on the D, 10, 12, 10, 9. So, now, it doesn't sound too musical, it's more of an exercise, but you can make it musical by taking any scale that has 3 notes per string and doing this. You play the 3 notes on the first string and then going to the middle of the 3 notes on the next string. And you just keep repeating that pattern. This is a C major scale. Here I'm going to borrow a note from a previous pattern. By the way, I'm doing an upward lean for this and starting with a down. You can do it the other way around. You can start with an up and lean down to escape the strings. But anyway, now I'm going to do the whole thing. If you want to reverse it, you can go. In case you want all of these tabs in one place, I'll put them in a PDF file and I'll put a link to them in the description below. If you find after a few weeks these exercises are too easy or you want to change things up a bit, you can create your own licks and exercises with the goal of fixing problem areas, okay? So you could take any of the ones we did. For example, you could take the Eric Johnson one and you could try it in pattern 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, push 2, 3, 4, 5, push 2, 3, 4, 5, push 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. The one we did before, instead of doing that, you could do a stretchier kind of thing. One of the earlier exercises we did, where we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, back a string. If that gets too easy after a while, what you can do is you can do it across patterns. So you could go pattern 1, pattern 2, back to 1, 2, back to 1, 2, 1, 2. You could even go 1, pattern 2 from maybe the A string, maybe pattern 3 from the A string, maybe stay on pattern 3, maybe move to pattern 4, 5 and so on. Now there's a way of testing to see if one of your hands is misbehaving and going ahead of the other. What you can do is take any lick you've been practicing. It could be one of your own, someone else's, or one of the ones we've done today. I'm going to take a lick that goes... This is one I always seem to make a mistake on. And what it is, my left hand tends to rush ahead of my right hand. So imagine I'm playing this with the drum machine, okay, using sextuplets. So I went wrong at the end. So let's see what's going on there. So if I use my right hand only, perfectly in time, okay? I've held the strings dead there. I'm going tick-a-tick-a-tick. So it's not my right hand. Let me try my left hand only. Okay, I'm rushing. Okay, I'm rushing ahead. So I need to relax this hand a little bit. Calm down, not think ahead of the beat, just think on the beat. So, slow down. Okay, now try. Better. Okay, a little bit wrong at the end there. So that's a problem I can address. I can go away and work on that last little bit where I'm obviously panicking, or maybe my right hand is actually doing this and not moving with the bridge. So you want to be very conscious of what you're doing. And when I was a bit younger, sad though this sounds, I'd have a little tiny mirror in front of my hand, this hand. I was mainly obsessed with making sure this hand was picking correctly. But you can also have it on both hands and really make sure they're doing the right things. Thanks for watching, people. As always, please click like and subscribe. It's massively helpful to me. The channel is a year old. I think it was a year old yesterday. So all your support so far has been greatly appreciated. Thank you for that. Anyway, thanks again. I'll see you next time.